Hey guys, today I am down working on the layout, and what I'm doing today is I'm transferring my track plan to my layout, and also hopefully laying some cork road bed. I already started, but I'm going to show you a little bit of what I've done and then kind of explain what I did. I mean, it's not too complicated, I guess. This might not even interest you because it's not really exciting. But anyways, I'll show you a little bit of what I'm going to do here. But anyways, before I get started, some of the things that I'm using. First and foremost, your track plan, or my track plan. Tape measure, marker. It doesn't hurt to have some turnouts that you're going to be using on your layout. To place them in certain areas to make sure everything's going to work just right for you. I even have some cardboard templates of some of the industries that's going to be on my layout. Here's the lumber facility, plastic pellet facility, power plant, engine house. You get the idea. And you can find the dimensions of most, these are Walther's kits, so you can find the dimensions of the kit without even buying it. Just looking online a little bit. Some places that sell them, when they give the information about the kit, they'll have the dimensions of the completed structure. So that comes in handy whenever you're planning out your layout. Before you even buy something, you can see, well, it might not fit, so no sense wasting your money. Sometimes I make some cardboard templates of certain radiuses that I'm going to be using. I only do that in certain areas that I can't use the homemade trammel. And Brian, I'm sorry I keep forgetting all the numbers that are after your name, but I mentioned this before and I saw this on one of your videos. But basically I took 3 yardsticks, drilled a hole right here, put a bolt in it. That allows you to rotate everything. Now 2 of them are just supports, like that. This middle one, I have a hole drilled right in the end for a pen or a marker. And then I have several holes drilled back here for different radiuses that I'm going to use. And then what I did was I basically put the bolt through whatever radius I'm going to be drawing. So right now it's in the 27-inch radius. And then I mean, if you're not sure how these things work, I'll show you here in a little bit. But this is a great tool, especially for drawing your curves or whatever, or your radiuses. Reason I use these push pins, I don't know the exact name of them, but you can find them in the fabric section of like Walmart and Hobby Lobby, places like that. But that's what I use for tacking down my cork road bed till it dries. And I use them because actually, I don't know if people do, I imagine this is a common thing, but I actually use pieces of cork road bed to draw my track lines down too. And I'll show you an example of that here in a minute. But I already got started on some of this. Now conventional wisdom would tell me to pick, say, one spot on the layout and then just work my way all the way around. Well, I decided to do it a little differently. What I did is I'm focusing on some of the more difficult areas, or the areas that I think may be a little bit more difficult to make sure everything's going to fit as the track plan suggests it would. So what I did was I'm focusing on different areas, and once I know everything's going to work there, some of the in-between sections are just, you know, basically some straight track or whatever that I can connect them with no problem. I just want to make sure that the more difficult areas are going to work before you know, I get all the way around to it. So that's what I'm doing right now. I've focused on a couple different areas. I haven't got too far, but you know, I did do a little bit off camera. And I don't want to bore you and make a 20-minute video of me just sitting here drawing lines on the table. But anyways, I'll show you a little bit of what I'm doing, but I won't force you to watch everything. All right, stay tuned, guys. I got some more coming up here. All right, guys, here's the Trammel. Before I get started on this, looking at these rollers, or yardsticks, it made me realize I forgot to mention in my list of tools that you need a straight edge for drawing whatever straight lines you want. That can be anything. I actually have behind me here probably about an 8-foot long straight line for my track, and I actually grabbed a piece of the fascia board that I had cut and used that for a nice long 8-foot straight edge. Made it real easy. So anything you can use for a straight edge is a requirement too, I guess. But anyways, this is the Trammel and how it's set up. It's hard for me to show this without being like in front of you where you can't see. But anyways, we have the 2 sections out here for just supports, and then right here is the section that moves. And I have it set up. I have holes drilled for every inch, and I have it set up for 27-inch radius right now. And then you can hold a marker in there or a pen or something, or you can drill the hole where it'll fit snug. But anyways, then you have that, and then you just draw your circle right around your radius. Just like that, once you have it where you want it. Just like that. Hopefully I wasn't in your way too much for that, but you get the idea. So that's a very useful tool, and I will say Terry from Pen Central 99's YouTube channel, he also mentioned that if you have a camera tripod, you can make one of those with the camera tripod too. Now I'm going to move over here so I can show you what I was talking about using the cork road bed too for a section that you can use it to draw your track line. Let's see if I can zoom in there a little bit. Now right there you can see from the end of my curve that I already made, and then there's a straight section coming in. And here's the straight section coming in, and then here's my curve, the start of my curve. Well, I had to position my curve in a way so that it wasn't a direct shot from this straight line into the curve, because on the other side of the curve it was getting too close to my my wall or my backdrop. So I moved the curve over a little bit. So if you have any sections where you're going to have some goofy curves or angles or anything like that, cork road bed comes in handy for that. And what you do, you just take a strip of it, line it up where you want it, and then you can manipulate it enough that, just like that, where it's almost, see, I almost have it like a slight S-curve. Now you'll probably have to pin it down until you get your track line drawn, but you can make irregular curves instead of just, you know, the normal curve or the normal straight. You can, this is how I do any section that has like just, you know, sweeping curves, or you know, like a I don't know what I'm going to say here, like a kind of like a maybe a long sweeping S curve or something like that. It comes in really handy, and once you have it in place where you want the shape of your track or the track line to be, you just trace it out. Now, you know, then you can whenever you lay your cork, you know, you got your track line to lay your cork on. Anyways, that's another useful tip. Like I said, that may be common knowledge. I mean, that's how I do it, so obviously I'm not the only one that does it that way, but for anybody that might not know that, I figured I'd throw that in there. Alright, moving along. Hey guys, I'm going to point out another section of this that I've already worked on. Right here is where I'm looking at as we look at this section. To get my first main line, which is in red, the first line around there, basically, according to my track plan, the main line's roughly 12 inches in from the edge of the benchwork. So on either side, you know, where the straight pieces are, I already drew in about 12 inches in, I think is what it was. And then since this is a nice curve going around here, I even have the benchwork cut real nice. So basically what I did, just random spots, I measured in 12 inches. And then I did the cork road bed method I said about making curved track. And I just pieced that around there and tacked it down to hold it. And then like this, when you only have one section, then that gives you something to draw your track line with, your center line. And then you know where to lay your road bed then when you start gluing it down or nailing it down, whatever you do. I'm gluing it down. But anyways, and then to make sure I had enough room, see, this is why I said I start in the more complicated areas first to make sure it's going to work before I get to that section. I wanted to make sure I had the room for the 4 yard tracks here, because looking at it, it doesn't look like you would, but I should be alright because I measured out 2.5 inch center track spacing for each line. There's 2.5 inches away from that one, all the way out. Each one of these are 2.5 inches away from each other. That should be just fine for my yard. Looking at it now, I mean, I might be able to stretch, if I can move these 4 yard tracks a little bit further away from the main line, I'd be a little more happy with that. Now I do have room back here. I could stretch the main line back further, but that's going to make kind of a sweeping horseshoe type curve, kind of like what I showed you back with the other curve that I just made. I'd rather avoid that if I could. But either way, I think this is going to work just fine. And then I can basically, what I'll do is certain sections I'll measure that out again with the 2.5 inch track centers, and then I'll use my cork road bed method for you know, making the curve so I can draw my center line. But anyways, that's that section. I think that's all I need to cover right now. So I'm going to get back to work on this layout, making my track lines. And I'm not going to get too crazy with drawing out the yard tracks, because I'm going to have cork pad down there. So it will be up track height with everything else in the yard area. So there's no sense in me drawing the track lines on there until I have my cork pad down. And actually right now, I'm making sure I just get the main line down anyways. And also, as I was doing the track or the yard tracks, making sure everything was going to fit, you got your yard ladder coming in here, and if you have your turnouts laying around handy, you know, it's nice. That's why I said about having the turnouts with you. You can lay them out and make sure everything's going to line up right. So you know you're good to go, which I already did, so you'll have to take my word on it. I'm good to go with that. So I'm going to continue with the work on drawing my track lines and getting the track plan put on the benchwork so I can start gluing cork and then laying track. So if this video ends right now, that means I haven't videotaped any more of it. I'm going to try to set this camera up and maybe let you see some of it in action. I will probably do a time lapse on that, so it's not so dang boring for you. But thanks again, guys, for watching, and I will hopefully be making a track laying video very soon. Anyways, I'll catch you later. Alright guys, I'm not sure if you really suffered watching through all that, but if you did, I want to say happy Halloween. I know I'm a day late and $1 short, but hey, that's my life. So take care guys, and I'll see you on the next video.